Hey there, if you use FL Studio, I want to show you the settings that you need for mixing, mastering, or even making beats. If you have these settings enabled, it will give you the best audio quality in FL Studio. So if you're new, hit the subscribe button down below and let's get started. So right here, this is the FL Studio interface. When you open it up, you to come right here to options, come to audio settings. I always recommend that you use your preferred audio device. If you're using SSL like I am or any other audio interface, choose the driver that comes with it. It will give you more flexibility and less latency. Latency is simply that delay you hear when you press a note on your MIDI keyboard or when you are trying to record an instrument. The delay you hear when you strike the instrument and when you hear it back, that is the delay. So we want to minimize that. Now we have sample rates, and in basic terms, higher is supposed to be better. But if you're working on music production projects, I recommend you leave it on 44.1. By music production projects, I mean if your songs are going to end up primarily on streaming platforms or social media. 44.1 is okay, or 44,100 is typically the recommended standard. Okay, but if you're trying to have for maybe movies and films, the editor will typically give you the recommended sample rate, but most times they go for 48 to 96k. But again, 44.1 should be good enough. Okay, and the next thing we have is the buffer length. Now this is again also affects latency, and the higher the number, the more delay or lag you hear when you're recording an instrument or your voice. But it's going to demand less resources from your CPU. That means it's going to need your CPU to work less when it's higher. But when it's lower, your CPU is going to work more, but you're going to hear less latency or less delay when you record. Now it depends on what you're trying to record. If you're trying to record your vocals or guitar instruments, I typically recommend you have this at anywhere below 100 samples. Okay, but if you're trying to maybe make beats, you can make do it as high as 200 samples. Okay, because it can be more forgiving when you're playing MIDI instruments, since you have the access to like move things around. Again, adjust it to match what fits your CPU, or even just take out effects if you need that real-time feedback from your instrument when you're recording. And the next thing you want to turn on is this smart disable. When you turn this on, it's going to make sure that effects that are not needed in the moment will be deactivated temporarily. So that's why it's called smart disable. So it increases your CPU performance so that your CPU does not unnecessarily process or work with plugins that are not needed in the project. Then we'll come to the mixer. I recommend you change your mixer resampling quality to 512 point sync if you have a decent CPU. But if your CPU is really weak, I recommend you take it down to maybe 24 or 16 point sync to manage your CPU. But the issue with this is that when you export your project, you need to match your export setting with this so that it doesn't render the audio quality in a higher fidelity and it starts sounding different in the exports. Okay, now when it comes to export, you have to do is come right here, export, then wave file, and you're going to face with this menu. Now there's some settings in here that you want to make sure you understand and know when or how to use them. So right here we have the mode that you want to export, either the full song that is everything on your playlist, or pattern, maybe a specific pattern you want to export, either one. Okay, so let's assume you want to export a full song. So this tail right here is basically the end of the audio when you export it. Now if I leave it on wrap remainder, it's basically going to fold up any sustaining audio sound. Okay, it's going to like fold it up and not let it stay for too long. And if you have on cut remainder, it's going to cut it immediately on where the song stops. Okay, like if maybe the song stopped at 86th bar, it's going to stop it right there when it's exporting. But if it's on wrap remainder, it's going to fold it out a little bit, maybe by like half a bar or even less. But when you have it on leave remainder, it's going to try and render the sound till it's totally silent. So some sounds have like sustain in them, they have like the ambient sustain. So you need to try to render everything till it's totally silent, and this may leave unnecessary space at the end of your project. So I always recommend you leave this on either cut remainder or wrap remainder, unless if you have a valid reason to leave it on leave remainder. Now in here we have the output format. For professional audio, we either use WAV or FLAC, okay, because they are both lossless audio file. What lossless simply means is that when you upload, it's not going to degrade in quality over time, unlike MP3, where once you upload it, there's some compression that may happen, and when you re-download it back, there may be some slight loss or degradation in audio quality. Think of WAV file like, if you're familiar with photography, think of WAV file like the picture you get from a photo studio, okay, versus MP3, which is like a screenshot. Okay, screenshots may be okay for the time being, but you can't use it for any serious or professional work because the quality won't be as high when you try to scale it on big screens. Okay, but WAV file or raw photos or photos from the photo studio, when you scale it on big screen, typically it still looks sharp and crisp. So that's like the nearest analogy I can use. So WAV file typically maintains its quality and fidelity across platforms when you have it on like MP3, which loses quality over time, it degrades. Okay, so either wave or FLAC, either one is fine. Now for the bit depth, typically higher is better because it has more information. Okay, but I would not recommend you do 16 bits. Most times I recommend 24 bits. You can even see when it's on 16 bits, you can see the file size 27 megabytes, about 27 megabytes. When I take you to 24 bits, you can see 41 megabytes. That's almost double, right? Remember I said earlier about when you're setting your project's audio and you choose 512 point sync if you have a decent CPU, or 16 point sync if you have a low quality audio. Now if you have a low quality CPU, now I recommend you match this. Okay, if you use 24 point sync in your project while making a beat, please use the same resampling quality so that the beat or the production or the mix sounds pretty much the same when you export it, because if not, you're going to be surprised at what you'll be hearing when you export it. Okay, so try to match the export quality and the project quality. Okay, so since mine is 512 point sync, I'm going to leave that on 512 point sync. Okay, and then you can either split mixer track if you're trying to export maybe stems, that is multi tracks of your tracks, maybe the drums, melodies, vocals, and all of that. You can either turn it on to split. If I turn that on, you can see I have about 948 megabytes. When I turn it off, I have just 41.2 megabytes because it's going to export each track individually. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that. I don't want stems yet. I just want a single audio file export. And this trim PDC silence is important if you're exporting a WAV file. You don't want that silence that typically comes at the beginning of your project. And then if you want any effects you added to be turned on, yeah, you can turn that on. Master effects, you can turn that on. And I always recommend you save tempo information as well, so that whenever it's dragged into any software, maybe for a remix or for a collaboration, it's already embedded into the WAV file. Okay, and that's pretty much how you can set up FL Studio for the best audio quality. And if you want to learn more on how to make beats or how to mix and master, feel free to check our website or click the link in this video, sctutorials.com, and you see courses on how to make beats and how to mix and master, because we take you from beginner stages all the way to advanced stages that will teach you how to mix and master professionally, how to make beats professionally from the very beginning. We're into the fundamentals, tips and tricks and hacks that you need to know to make professional quality music. And you also get to earn a certification when you successfully complete the course. All you have to pay is a one-time fee and you get free lifetime updates so long as the course is still available on the website. So hit the link in the description or visit our website sctutorials.com to sign up.